More troops from NATO countries have arrived in Greenland as Trump's threats to take over continue. A plane carrying soldiers from Denmark landed overnight, while France, Germany, the UK, Sweden, and the Netherlands also sent small contingents today. This move intends to show unity among European countries and signal to Donald Trump that NATO can safeguard Greenland's security without a U.S. takeover. However, the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, says their presence won't change Trump's goal of acquiring Greenland. Let's find out more from Nuuk. Marcus Valentin has been following the story for the Greenlandic Broadcasting Corporation. He joins us, as you can see, from Nuuk. First of all, describe for us exactly where you are right now.
Well, right now I'm standing down at the harbor where behind me there's one of the more permanent inspection ships down at the harbor docking.
And you've been monitoring these small contingents of troops that have been arriving in Greenland. Describe for us what's going on.
So we don't know the exact numbers of the soldiers that have been arriving, but we know that some of the passengers that was supposed to go with the Atlantic flight to Denmark today that has been cancelled. They have been had their layover at one of the local ferries because all of the hotel rooms are booked by the Danish defense. So there are a number of soldiers from Denmark up here in Greenland right now. But as for the NATO countries that are in this Operation Arctic Endurance, there's a few officers from the different countries trying to map out, like, how is this operation going to work.
And this operation that's going on right now, was this already scheduled? I think this is not in response, is it, to what Donald Trump has said in the last week?
So yeah, this operation was, as far as we hear from the Minister of Defense from Denmark and the Chief of the Danish Armed Forces, this was scheduled, but it has been moved forward to an earlier time. And we don't have a clear official response as this being a move forward in response to the U.S. threats and the situation from the U.S. But we know that this was going to happen because back in October 10th, there was a deal made between Greenland and Denmark to amp up with 27 additional billions of kroners the defense of Arctic. And this is this is further along trying to implicate this deal that was made in October.
Yeah. Well, what can you tell us about the reaction among Greenlanders that you've spoken to or heard from about this particular operation?
Well, we know right now from this particular operation, right now people are kind of relieved after the meeting in the U.S. because the tensions was so high. But we know from earlier in October when the deal, the second amendment to the defense deal in Denmark were made with the new investments up in Arctic, there was a huge debate up here in Greenland from especially the opposition party saying that the new armament in Greenland and the new exercises were too close to the civilian populations. But we also know from the government, and the government is 4 out of the 5 parties in the Greenlandic parliament, that they all stand behind this and they want further collaboration with the NATO allies in how to defend the Arctic. We also can see from the responses from both the Greenlandic and the Danish government that they want to address the concerns that is from the US about Arctic security, and they want to amp up Arctic security.
I feel like 2 or 3 years ago, people in Greenland would never have expected that they'd have to turn to the European countries to kind of guarantee their security. I mean, is there a sense of, I don't know, unreality on the part of some people in Greenland as they watch all of this play out?
not as much as if it's EU or if it's America or if it's Denmark. In general, the culture up here about the defense is very pacifist, and we have had a long era of low tension up in the Arctic. A declaration that the U.S. has also signed along with Russia and Canada and all the other Arctic nations, that the Arctic should be a low tension area. But we've seen Russia amp up the military bases and reopening some of the bases from the Cold War. And therefore, right after the election, we could see some of the French helicopters and the military exercises with NATO allies, just as France and Germany and the Scandinavian countries up here in Greenland came very suddenly. And there hasn't really been a big debate about this in the Greenlandic or amongst the Greenlandic politicians. So this is a huge culture shift. Sometimes I compare it to amping up the military in Greenland is almost like saying to the Americans that they need to cut their defense spendings.
A really interesting example. Marcus Valentin is a journalist for the Greenlandic Broadcasting Corporation who, as you can see, has stayed awake and live at 11:30 at night outside in Nuuk. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.